Here is one of the funniest internet exchanges I have ever seen, ever since I have been on the internet. On a personal website/blog, under one of its articles, a user said something like this to the poster. I like your articles, but why do you have to show pornographic ads besides your articles? Don't you know children can read your post? And then another user replied to this comment. The advertisements are based on your cookie. Try cleaning your browser cookies. And then the first commenter was never seen again. Hello potential viewers, welcome to my channel. Now you are watching a video from a crappy YouTuber with a trolley panda avatar and a low number of views. I wonder, have you ever seen ad on this video when it plays? Now, if you luckily got ads somehow, let me guess. It is very probable that the ads will be one of these. The cringy ad with the same dude selling male pubic hair trimmers, or man soap, or some random mobile games, or online shopping plugins. And if I am correct, you may wonder how I guessed that. The answer is simple understanding of the YouTube ad system. Now, disclaimer. The topic I am going to talk about are my understanding of the internet advertising systems. There might be erroneous or incorrect information when considering some details. All I can make sure is that the general information are accurate and descriptive. When you see a piece of advertisement on the internet, let's say in a YouTube video in the previous example, there have already been several cycles of internet requests and responses. Now, let's start from bottom. When you open a YouTube video, before the advertisement gets dropped, what happened behind the scenes? First of all is the bidding for a display on available ad slot. This means before an ad is displayed in a slot for ads, like in the context of YouTube videos, there are the yellow dots on a progress bar, where if the video progresses through, it will trigger an interrupting short video ad, or a banner shown on top of video, or at the bottom of a video. There will be several advertisement options that are competing for the slot. How this works is that the advertisers set up their advertisement configurations, i.e., in my previous example, the company behind the male pubic hair trimmer, they will set on a maximum monetary value they are willing to pay the advertising platform, in this case YouTube and Google, for some particular kinds of slot. And when that slot becomes available, several of these configurations from different advertisers will compete for it. Let's say more than one company who sell hair trimmers want to display ad in the slot, and the outcome will be that whoever is willing to pay more will gain the slot and their ad will be displayed. Only the winner will get charged in this case. So when you see a crappy ad in the YouTube video, you can conclude these things, that either the ad slot in the video is determined by YouTube to be a crappy one, that only very few advertisers are willing to bid, or that the ad slot is simply paid by an advertiser whose bid just outcompeted everyone else's. Just think of Bloomberg's ad a few months back. And now, there is another part at play here, which is how does the advertising platform measure how much value an ad slot is? This has to do with the profiling and targeting system. Now bear in mind that it's just a general term. In different advertising platforms, there will be called different systems handling of these functionalities. But admittedly, this is the most interesting and potentially disturbing part of the whole digital and internet advertising business. If you had not lived under a rock for the past few years, you would have heard of a news story after news story regarding the big tech companies creepily tracking the actions of internet users. This is a relatively common practice among many tech companies whose main revenue stream is advertisement related or dependent. And Google, Amazon, Facebook, Snapchat, and even Apple's revenue has some level of dependency on it. What these tracking systems typically do is that they keep records of the user's interactions with web content, including advertisement content, in order to 1. Generate user profiles and analyze their interests and likelihood of being a new or returning customer of any of the advertiser's products, and 2. Claiming credit for users' action if they ended up converting, meaning that they ended up buying something from the advertiser, registering or subscribing to the advertiser's services, or performing other actions that are of value to the advertiser. This kind of individual user tracking is also often contextualized in and combined with relatively more traditional approaches to demographics and audience analysis in order to achieve a greater accuracy and efficiency in their prediction of user behavior, and thus optimizing the performance of the advertisement being run. Of course, this is not the only deciding factor. There is also the system that does the pricing and ranking of content to which the ad slots are attached. And if you are familiar with the past YouTube demonetization drama, you will likely know that YouTube has a system of marking videos and channels on whether they are suitable for advertising, and this mechanism determines whether a YouTuber gets money from the advertisers. Without commenting too much on the justification of this, they seem to be mostly about shifting the algorithm and methodology for this kind of ranking and pricing, which could be beneficial to YouTube and advertisers but end up screwing the content creators. This kind of content ranking and pricing does not happen only on YouTube, of course. It happens to many online channels and websites with some level of integration with advertising platforms. And with this kind of tracking and profiling system, combining with the content ranking and monetizing system, the advertising platform can, based on their algorithm of ranking relevant content, the profile they have on the user, or an estimate of the user's demographic groups, rank and price a user's ad slots and pairing them with the advertiser's bidding options, then cue ads run and money made. However, one can easily tell one issue with this kind of advertising model in the age of internet and social media. With an extremely distributed and diverse demographic of content creators, each with some kind of personal styles and edges that attracts different viewers, instead of a handful of gatekeepers at a few of the corporate media institutions, proper moderation of the content, proper inspection of the content's feasibility for advertisement becomes a daunting, if not impossible task. This becomes an issue for the advertisers, meaning the ones paying the advertising platforms like YouTube to run their ads as well. They might prefer to not be related to any controversial content, yet at the same time, they might want to do the bare minimum of advertising management. They come to Google and YouTube to count on them to optimize their ad performance and display strategy. After all, they are kind of known for that. And with today's corporate media constantly attempting to impose their gatekeeping on content on the internet, it would be relatively easy to figure out why YouTube has such an aggressive banning and selective and politically biased approach at demonetizing content, while at the same time publicly and spinelessly promoting corporate media content like the Tonight Shows from various TV stations. The simple answer is that a lot of advertising money has already been spent on those kind of content, and they have already gone through several layers of gatekeeping. And more importantly, they pretty much are the references for content being advertiser friendly. Thus, they become easy and quick sources of advertiser money for YouTube. One thing that I am relatively happy to see is the growing number of sponsored content on YouTube. And as much as I dislike slimy Jack Conte from Patreon, and Patreon as a company itself, I'm glad to see a lot of YouTubers going for it. Subscribestar is better, by the way. If you think about it, sponsored content is a nice way of working around the automatic and often ruthless monetization system on YouTube, and at the same time, the existence of direct audience to content creator monetization helps these individual smaller channels of information prevail. And in turn, this will help make the sponsors more confident in running more sponsorship programs instead of traditional advertising revenues. For a lot of the YouTubers that I watch, whose content often touch on somewhat controversial topics, they all have Patreon, Subscribestar, and sponsored content, so there might be some bias here. But personally, I believe that the future of YouTube advertising, without having to suck up to corporate media and basically killing their grassroots content creation community, would be to build more granular, flexible, and easy to use advertising options and sponsorship capabilities. Sponsored content and the existence of subscription services like Patreon are themselves stripes from people who would like to crack open the corporate gatekeeping, and YouTube could just be a part of it if it wants to, even though I am pretty sure Susan does not share this vision. That will be all for my video today. I hope you like it, and I hope to see you next time.